looked through all the Screw stuff. I got all the Playboy articles. I mean, I'm really good at doing research and finding obscure shit, you know. So I got that all together, and it turned into this book. And when I was getting ready to, you know, finalize the book, I was like, you know, I'd really like to. What I wanted to do most of all was tell her that the book was coming out, because I think it was in her book Out of Bondage, she said that whenever someone writes something about me or does a TV show or something like this, they never let me know. And the story comes back, and my family's caught off guard, and it brings the whole thing back up again. So I was like, okay, you want to know something? I respect this woman enough, and I really, you know, after having done the research, realized that there was a lot of validity to what she was saying about being beaten by her husband. And, you know, I found lots of quotes from Jerry Damiano who backed it up, and, you know, so I was really, I understood her story. So I called her up and I was like, look, you know, I'm doing this book and I just wanted you to know. And if you want to talk to me for it, we can talk for 2 hours. I will give you an entire chapter. I will not cut a word of what you say. You can slam everything about porn that you want. I told her what I intended to do with the book, and she goes like, all right, okay, you know, that sounds interesting. Why don't you come out to Colorado and we'll meet face to face? And, you know, because I relate better to people when I see them and I can see what they're about. And I'll, you know, we'll see if we can work something out. And I flew out and met her, and we hit it off really, really well. You know?
Wow.
Really nice.
Linda Lovelace.
She's a nice guy.
That's good that you gave her the opportunity to, you know, instead of just writing it, I'm going to just write a book, like gave her and I think it adds validity to the book as opposed to someone just...
Definitely. You know, like I said, I'm real, like, straight... I'm a nice pornographer.
He's a nice pornographer. Love it.
You know, people think, like, oh, pornographers are these, like, scumbag people and all. I was like, no, I'm just...
I didn't know what I was going to go when I met you. I was like, is this guy going to be, you know, like, a dirty... Is he going to be, like, talking about my boobs? Is he going to be like... No, that's cool, though.
Oh, thanks.
So, and now let's talk about your other book, the official heavy metal book of lists. Now, you being a crazy researcher, how did all that come up? Because you've got that book that's a lot of stuff and a lot of obscure things. He found out all sorts of weird. It's like encyclopedia, Guinness World Record kind of like craziness. So tell us about that.
Well, I actually got that assignment because of the complete Linda Lovelace. A friend of mine named Mike Edison, who was the editor of the book, who I'd known since I was in college. I ran into him in a bar one day, and he comes up to me and he goes like, "Got a proposition for you." I'm like, "What's that?" He goes, "I want you to write the next book of lists," because they had put one out about 8 months earlier, the punk rock book of lists that Handsome Dick Manitoba wrote, and I'm like, "Okay, well, what's it going to be?" And he's like, "Heavy metal." I'm like, "Well, you know, I mean, my metal palette is like Black Sabbath and Alice Cooper, like real old 70s stuff, because I'm a fucking old bastard. So I don't really know a whole bunch about what's going on now." And he's like, "Yeah, but you can do really good research." I'm like, "All right, yeah, you know, like I can take that challenge, you know." So we hashed out what it is, and you know, it turned out that like the punk rock book of lists, there's about 130 different lists about a whole bunch of different topics. About 30 of them are written by other people. I got Ted Nugent to do one. Otep Shamaya did one. Let me see. God, who else? John Five did one. You know, a bunch of really, really great people. Lita Ford did one, which I was thrilled about. We let them do whatever they want, but we had to set the thing up into chapters. You know, so it's like, okay, how's this going to work out? So I realized that it was the 25th anniversary of the PMRC hearings, which was the Record Labeling Act series hearings that were going on, because there was too much violence in rock and roll. There was too much sex and Satanism and, you know, all this. So the first 4 chapters are drugs, the occult, sex, and you know, we kept it going after that. So it's really based on the PMRC rating system, which I thought was kind of cute.
That's so interesting.
Yeah. And it was great because it turned me into, I'm like more of a born again metalhead than I was. There's lots of, like, you know, all these you know, speed metal fucking bands. Like the ones that are coming out now are like, they're very intense and really great, and remind me a lot of, like, because I'm actually like an old punk rock bastard, you know. Yeah. So it reminds me a lot of like the energy and stuff of really good, like, old punk rock. So I was really happy to start hearing some good music again.
So it opened a new window for you.
Yeah.
And now, speaking of which, I hear that, you know, you're a big Debbie Harry, Joan Jett. Madonna fan. And I heard, now, is there a tattoo of, is that true? Is there a tattoo of Joan Jett that she signed? Oh my,
No, it's on my
oh. Let's,
see, I'm a pornographer. Oh, and Amy Winehouse.
Oh, that's your Amy Winehouse. That is so cool. Right, she signed it. Where was this at?
I met Joan Jett in 1981. Yeah.
I love 80s stuff.
I just turned 18. Shows you how fucking old I am. I just turned 18, and I wanted to get a tattoo since I was in like 4th grade, So I had seen a show called The David Susskind Show. David Susskind was a great interviewer, late night, I think Saturday nights, and he did a show about fans back, and this was like in the 70s. And he had this one guy on who was a huge Anne Margaret fan, and this guy had Anne Margaret's autograph tattooed on his arm. I was like, wow, that's a really great idea, So Joan Jett was playing at a charity baseball game for WNEW FM, which is a great radio station back in the 80s. In Clark, New Jersey. So me and my friend drove out there to go see her play baseball, And I was like, you want to know something? I'm going to get her to sign my arm, and I'm going to get it tattooed on. So, in between innings, like, people were going up and bringing her records and stuff. And, I brought her a record to sign and stuff. And at the end of the game, like, I go up to her and I hand her a magic mark. I'm like, hey, would you sign my arm? And she's like, why? I'm like, because I'm going to get it tattooed on. And she's like, definitely. So she signs it. And about a week later, she was drag racing a guy named Ray Beadle at Englishtown Raceway. Racing. She drag raced this guy and actually beat him.
Joan Jett drag races and beat the dude. Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, he was in a half-size car. He was in a half-size car. She was in a full-size. But she beat him on a quarter-mile track. And, I got into the pit to go say hello, and I wanted to show her the tattoo and all. So I got to show it to her, and she was like, wow, I can't believe you really did that. She had friends like take pictures of it, And actually, years later, I ran into someone who saw the tattoo. Actually, there's two people that this one person saw the tattoo and goes like, oh my God, I was over at Joan's place about a month ago, and she showed me the picture of that tattoo. And this was like, 10, 15 years later, And I was actually online for Joan Jett and the Blackheart show in Asbury Park, and I'm standing behind these people, and people waiting online for a show. You get to talking, and you're all excited and amped to see the show. So they turn around, and they're like, oh, what's that tattoo? And I'm like, oh, it's Joan Jett's autograph. And the guy goes to me, oh my God, that's really funny. A friend of ours has Anne Margaret's autograph tattooed on his arm. So they knew the guy.
Wow, that's really cool.
That was the reason why I did it. They thought it was really funny. So.
Look at you, a man about town, sex, drugs, and rock and roll, and he's very humble about it and very straight-laced. Oh my gosh, this is so crazy. So, what's happening now? What are you working on now? Do you have anything coming up? Where can people see? We want to know what's going on with Eric.
Well, I'm working on the revision of The Complete Linda Lovelace. Since 10 years have gone by since I put it out, a lot has happened. Linda died, and she still actually has a lot of influence in pop culture. People are still writing songs about her, and they're making the movie, and they've done documentaries and all this. So I'm kind of like expanding the book. I'm revising it. I'm publishing it myself through my company, Power Process Publishing, LLC. And I guess like the next thing that I have coming up seriously is that I'm going to be doing a live reading from the first chapter of the book at 2A, at a bar called 2A, that I'm recording for the audiobook edition of the book, because it's going to be coming out in several wonderful formats, so you can all give me your money.
Oh, that's awesome. And what 2A, what date is that going to be, do you know?
That's going to be June 10th at 2A. It's 25 Avenue A.
Go and see this. Go see the reading, and when, and it's free. Oh, free in New York.
And if you get your name on the guest list, I'm buying everyone whose name is on the guest list a drink.
You get a drink, and you get to hear Eric Danville. Yep. This is awesome. And final thing, what about when it comes released? Where will people be able to buy it from?
They will be able to buy it from my website, because I'm self-publishing it again, and the website is thecompletelindalovelace.blogspot.com.
Google it. Google it. So everyone, this is Demi Davis again, and we are for Filmmakers Focus. We were talking to the excellent Eric Danville about love, drugs, sex, rock and roll, and everything in between. So have a great day, and we'll see you next time. Bye.